Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, a little after 9 p.m. Eastern. Oh, man. I got to mute myself over here. I'm my own moderator right now, so I got
It's
to
all
watch
good,
every.
man.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got to watch everything.
Man with many talents, right there. You're like the Oz, the great Oz, man behind the curtain.
Yeah, I wish. If I was in Oz, that would be fantastic
Nah, yeah, that would be li-
because.
live in the land of Oz
Oh,
with all
yeah.
the
Wouldn't that be
Munchkins and whoever.
wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd do it.
I
Sure.
just want to throw water on that witch, man.
That's kind of mean, though.
Yeah, but she's wicked.
Maybe she just needed a friend, a good friend that could like really help her. Would have saved the whole thing.
Or or those poor guys who were chanting needed to be freed. And the only way to do it was to kill the witch.
Yeah, you heard about the old story about the munchkin or the little person hanging himself in the back scene when they're going off to the like all three of them are like going together down the yellow brick road, and it's a closing scene, a fade to black, and then in the background you see what looks like
Oh, yeah.
somebody jumping and as they're swinging
I've
back. You ever hear
yeah,
that one?
I've heard that one.
That was a popular one. Yeah, that
Peop
was actually. Oh,
People still espouse it too, and I'm like, "Nah, that's not really what it was." But
would you hear what it was?
I forgot what they said actually, but somebody wrote an article about it.
It was animals, the animals that were uh, on stage that day is what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at
Yeah, because
least
for
that's what
one,
I heard. I mean, that's what I heard.
we have a mystery on our hands.
Yeah, well, it's like that one mystery with the cardboard or with the on 3 Men and a Baby of the ghost in the background,
Oh,
but it's actually
yeah.
just a cardboard cutout of Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep. That one was around for a while. I
Yeah,
remember being a kid and neighbor told me that, one of the neighborhood kids, we were all kids, and you ever seen the ghost in 3 Men and a Baby? And I was all into ghosts at that time. I'm like, no. So I ran back, I watched it, and of course I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Look at that. And then it's like years later you find out that nope. I'm
I
like,
guess they
ah.
even found a kid to relate to that ghost as well that it fell out of a window or something like that. I think it was.
Yeah, they found the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
They
huh?
found something that fit it.
Yeah, yeah.
And there you
It's
go.
the confirmation bias right there.
Well, yeah, because it had to be a ghost.
Yeah.
I was a
So,
kid. I would have believed anything.
yeah, I think I saw that on TV somewhere. Gosh, yeah, when I was a kid, it was on some sort of TV program, and I'm sure.
Probably special edition or something like that.
Yeah, it was probably something like that, like an Unsolved Mysteries or one of those mystery shows. Because I love watching those as a kid. Like watch the crap out of those Unsolved Mysteries. I
Oh
love it.
yeah. Unsolved Mysteries was great.
Still is, man. They did a reboot on it, and I like it. I think they did a really good job. Good storytelling, good compelling storytelling. Where it's like, wow, that's weird. It's wild stuff, and um, you know they still got it. But it's always going to be that intro to Unsolved Mysteries, where it's like once you hear that, it's like boom, it takes you back to that time when life was simpler.
Yeah, but I don't know. Does he beat Robert Stack though? Does anybody beat Robert Stack hosting
There's
that?
no
That's
host.
tough. Phil. Oh, there's no host.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it is not
Yeah,
have a
that
host.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't do that for Jeopardy though.
With Jeopardy. Let's see. Jeopardy.
They couldn't even give the guy the woman he wanted to host it. It's like it's Alex Trebek. He says he wants this person. Just there you go. Problem solved.
Who's the host of it?
Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings split
Yeah.
duties.
You want to know a funny story about Ken Jennings?
Sure.
It's a very true story, and I have proof to back it all up. He owes me $500.
He does.
He owes me $500. Yeah, I know him. Well, he was one of my clients and stuff when he still lived in the area, and you know, I was at his house and stuff doing some work, and I'm like, oh wow, that dude looks familiar. And then I look on the wall, it's like, oh wow, that's that's the dude from Jeopardy. I'm like, oh yeah, and then put it all together, and they were supposed to do some marketing for me, but they were having some issues as far as uh, they moved separately away,
Mm-hmm.
and so it didn't ever happen. So because I let the job go for what they were supposed to do, but didn't. Maybe I should go on Twitter or something and be like, Ken, you're like a millionaire now.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, yeah. Nice people though. He's got a really, really, really big comic book collection in his garage, like huge. Like how you have the garage shelves and stuff. He's got like 4 or 5 of those just full of comic books and boxes and stuff. Damn.
Wow.
Anyways, so yeah, I haven't watched Jeopardy
No, I
much
haven't watched it in
lately.
forever because I feel like an idiot when I watch it.
Yeah, that too.
To be honest, I'm not that bright. Not that much, man. Some people can hit that buzzer real quick, and I'm just like,
I'm like,
football.
can
Give
you
me
repeat
football.
that? Repeat
Yeah,
that question.
football. One more time. Come on. I know there's a clue in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But so I joined Twitter to make this a Phenomenon Sessions Twitter thingy. And they make you, well, they don't make you, but you got to like pick favorite things right off the bat and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right. So I picked science. I said, all right, let me pick science because I like things that pop up,
Hmm.
And then I joined Reddit. And one of the first thing that pops up was a science thing again. And I'm like, hey, I'm striking gold here. But like I said, I always like UFO stuff, right? So every time I see an article that says radio signal detected, I go, ooh, what's that? Because, who knows? Maybe one day we'll hear voices or something instead of just picking up a radio signal. But this one was detected 9.9 billion light years away. And I was like, dude, that is far. And it was picked up by India's giant meter wave radio telescope. So it's the first time that type of radio signal has been detected at such a large distance, which is why it caught my eye. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it also means that scientists might be able to start investigating some of the earliest stars and galaxies, which is neat. Because they keep getting further and further back in time, and it's just amazing. But most of these radio signals are coming from radio pulsars or a magnetar, which are, they're neutron stars, except the magnetar is I think its magnetic field is so intense that if we could, within 600 miles of it, it would melt you. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I know a couple. No, so far, it doesn't seem like they've picked up anything that would be considered alien.
Well,
Keep my hopes up.
Yeah, if we're receiving a signal from an alien in that way, the people sending us that signal are likely already dead because they should have the technology to beat that signal to Earth before, before they would have flew here in like a spaceship or something. So, I don't know why they would use technology like that unless it's like, well, I mean, well, I
Well,
know why but
yeah, but still, they may not even be directing it towards us.
well, yeah, you just kind of blast it out,
Yeah.
see what
Oh, they've
sticks, like,
done
kind of
that.
like what
Yeah.
we do, and
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe that there are other planets like ours with other species like ours, because the building blocks of life are in, asteroids and stuff. And, there's a lot. I mean, look at the stars, man. Look behind us, man. There's like stars
And we're still
everywhere.
alive. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a big place. And I mean, we absolutely have life out there. I mean, I probably say without a doubt. But the thing is, the distance between us and them is so vast that realistically we can never get there in our bodies, because we don't have the energy and weight to go there unless we like warp space. But even then, it's like when you warp space and stuff, uh, y- you know. Uh, because of with time dilations and what is it, the Fermi paradox and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
with brother and stuff, but well, like within Star Trek, so do they warp the gravity field at Earth, so when they are out in space, they will maintain the same Earth time that they would have out in space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wonder about that with how they warp space. I guess makes
Huh.
sense. It's like surfing on the space, I guess.
Yeah. I think wormhole is one of them, but we've never been able to make one.
A
But
wormhole?
theoretically, it's possible.
Yeah. Well,
From what I understand.
I think that they found a wormhole with an entanglement from the sun with
Mm-hmm.
particles here in the Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah, but we haven't figured out how to make them.
Oh no, only in Star Trek.
Yeah, only in Star Trek.
And I swear Gene Roddenberry was probably like a space alien sent here to help us progress in our technological advancements, because literally he is linked to cell phones, to tablets, to that show has been an inspiration to a generation of people that created a lot of the technology and advancements in humankind was inspired from Star Trek. And there's actually a documentary called How William Shatner Changed the World.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's actually how Gene Roddenberry changed the world in reality, what it should be called.
that's neat.
Yeah,
I'll have
maybe
to
as a
watch
space
it.
alien. No, that was pretty good actually. But back to the whole space and time dilation and stuff. It's like I wonder if the little green aliens and stuff are just like sock puppets that aliens are able to project their consciousness into in order to avoid the time dilation and the time in space, and to avoid any sort of danger of germs, contact, and stuff like that. And that's why the little green people don't have like they don't have any organs or anything, just the basics to uh, do what you need them to do, pretty much like an avatar. How we have like that avatar in GTA. How you have your character there, same kind of thing. It's if you can project that consciousness across space into these sock puppets, or use a drone or whatever. That makes you wonder.
Yeah, well,
It's
that was
one
the
way to overcome it.
yeah, that was the that's an idea behind some of the um supposed craft, is that it's one consciousness, you know, and they're all working together, but they're actually not a biological thing. They're more
Well, we're
like
making
test, you know, robots basically who go out and collect stuff.
Yeah, well, because we're making quantum computers right now, and if you really think about break down what a quantum computer is, it's very similar to our brain, our neural pathways, the connections, the brainwave that's created is what essentially what quantum computing is leading into. So it's like it's forming into that consciousness of what we possibly, because then you have to ask, well, what is consciousness? What are you sending across there?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tough question, because I don't think anybody really has the answer of it, because who we are is really defined by a given moment in time and space, which is made up by our brain waves with all our synapse and everything going. That brain wave that's created that you can see on a graph and stuff when you're hooked up to a computer, that there at whatever that moment in time is the consciousness. Because without those connections, without that brainwave, you're not going to have consciousness. And maybe like what differs from us and like everything else on this planet is the prefrontal cortex that is developed in us, maybe through ingestion of psychedelic mushrooms that expanded our neural pathway connections beyond what these other animals were ingesting. Throwing it out there, don't ape theory. But so I don't know, rambling there.
Psychedelic theory.
Yeah, it's proven, or it's being proven now with testing, since it's more acceptable as far as letting scientists do work on it to see what kind of benefits there are. And we're going to start seeing it in treating for like PTSD, for brain damage, because it really does help rebuild neural pathways and the connections and stuff. And it seems like it's good way to get the brain on full throttle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I read about
Expand.
I read some about consciousness, and there's an opinion piece by another doctor, and it was published, and he goes, we really can't study consciousness when you're in the coma stage, because it seems like we can only really study it when it's in wakefulness. And yet you guys can't agree on where consciousness is, the internal place of it. And that's an interesting question.
Well, I don't mean to disagree with the doctor or anything, because I'm not nobody by any means, but
No,
I don't know. It seems like
away.
it seems like consciousness would always be there, because even though you're not consciously awake, you still have a subconscious that's working.
No, it's there. It's just how can it's not, it's not really doing anything when you're asleep.
Maybe. I don't know. You're getting into like what?
Yeah, I
Carl
gotta read
Jung.
more, because I found it fascinating. I'm like, is it in the front? Is it in the hindbrain? Is it here? I guess nobody can agree, or it's disputed as to exactly. And I don't even know exactly what they say consciousness is. Is it an outer membrane type thing? I don't know.
It's a perception of space and time. At a given moment, I think, is what consciousness is. Probably best defined as, maybe. Because that's what it is.
Today, all day, I thought today was Saturday.
Oh, man, yeah, I do that all the time.
And I was like, what's wrong with my consciousness? You got that one wrong.
Yeah, well, where's your future consciousness? Where's your previous consciousness? Consciousness just seems to kind of just flow with you in time and space, like a brainwave is, like how it's flowing, and those new brain waves that are being produced every microsecond is consciousness itself. Maybe, I don't know.
That makes sense. It's kind of like, does the past still exist?
The what?
Does the past still exist? That age-old question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of like asking, if the tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound if no one's there to hear it? I'm like, well, we've had people in the forest when trees fall and it made a sound. I think it would be I think it's a safe assumption to say that it would.
Well, it creates a vibration because sound's a vibration. So it creates a vibration. If there's a sensory apparatus there to receive that vibration, then it's heard. If there is no sensory apparatus as far as ears, be it a bug or a animal, a human or whatever, if that vibration is interpreted by a sensory apparatus that can interpret those those sound waves, then yes, it's heard. If it's not, then it just continues in a vibration that doesn't get heard by a ear. I guess. I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
If there was no human life on Earth and a tree fell in a forest, would it make a sound?
Well, it goes back to
Right. But
yeah,
animals wouldn't be able to report it.
yeah, because a deer, like a
Right,
deer,
would
for
be able to
instance,
hear it.
will be able to receive that sound wave and translate it into however it translates it. And it human probably wouldn't hear it, of course, but it would be heard by something if there's something there to hear it. If not, then it's just
Yeah, I guess
doesn't make a sound.
the nuances of what
It creates a vibration, though.
Yeah, the nuances of what people study is amazing. Because it's who would have thought to find out that carrots scream when you pick them out of the ground. Somebody tested it, and they scream. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wonder what a carrot screaming sounds like.
Well, I wonder if it's the actual sound of it being removed from the soil,
Yeah.
Like the membrane or whatever being removed.
Yeah, because obviously it's not conscious that it's of it.
Well, there's a study out that, and I think it's been known for years, about how plants can change their chemical composition and when they're being eaten on by a predator. And so like the plants down the way there seem to have the ability to communicate. And we know that the mycelium network is beneficial for more than just the mycelium itself. It helps with transferring of nutrients to trees, and it's like the Avatar thing, really, without the cool special effects on it.
What organ would produce the sound on a carrot? I forgot what it was. I'd have to look it up. I think it was more like sound waves. I forgot what it was. That's why, Google's the best thing in the world,
Yeah, it could lead you down some like rabbit holes too.
Well, somebody at work told me, carrots scream. I said, what? I thought it was cool. I was like, but let's just look.
Yeah, there's even a plant, I think it's a holly leaf or something, that will actually grow spikes on it if it gets eaten. Like the new next, that's how you can always tell when a plant's been nibbled on. They grow those spiky things. So there is some sort of consciousness in a way, our reaction to environmental stimulant. So is that a consciousness, or is that just a natural reaction as far as breathing, how we breathe? It's just natural. We could do it when we're sleeping. But even then, because that's like a muscle thing.
Yeah, it's an ultrasonic sound. We can't hear it.
What's it saying? Like, no!
Researchers reported tomato and tobacco plants from 10 centimeters away. They cut the stems of some plants and deprived others of water for several days. They found plants emitted as much as 35 distress sounds per hour in response. Normal plants produce less than one ultrasonic sound per hour. A team of scientists at Tel Aviv University have discovered that some plants emit a high-frequency distress sound when they undergo environmental stress. There we go. When a tomato plant's stem was cut, the researchers found it emitted 25 ultrasonic, distress sounds over the course of an hour. Huh. The plants also seem to respond with different intensities of sound to different sources of stress. Oh, okay. That's neat. But it's not like they're
Yeah,
feeling pain. It's more like just from the disturbance of their environment.
yeah, like how some leaves will like go back up when they're touched. I'm sure you've seen those pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where some McDonald's tell the vegetarians they're murdering their veggies. That was the
What?
first thing we always wanted to say.
Yeah, vegetarians though, that kills a lot more animals actually if you break it down. They're not the big animals, they're just the little ones that farmers need to kill to keep away from the crops in order to feed the people who want to save the animals. Kind of funny, huh? It's just like
Yeah, everything is
yeah, it's it's like okay, so it's like it's okay these rabbits, wolves, coyotes, whatever, birds, they all die, but can't kill a cow. Damn it. No.
meat is where it's at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop up the phone numbers. It's toll free. Anything on your mind, you may
Forgot all
call.
about
Oh,
that.
that's not the right one, Sean.
Man.
It's a good thing I don't have 50,000 subscribers. I'd be done. The first show, they'd be like, this guy. Bam. Okay, there we go. It's up, I think,
Shazam.
now. It should be up. It should be up. I got two numbers because I got mad that the first one excluded Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Alaska, and the Virgin Islands. I'm like, the chances of someone calling from Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Alaska, and the Virgin Islands, yeah, kind of slim.
But hey, you never know.
Yeah, no, you absolutely never know.
This show could be big in Puerto Rico.
What? You never know. It
Yeah.
could, but I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, no.
A little throwback to the old talk radio.
Yeah. I kind of like that vintage approach of the call-ins. It's more welcoming for people who don't want to deal with the whole technology thing. Me personally, I hate talking on the phone. I will do anything to avoid
That's why I
talking on
text
the
you all
phone.
the time.
Yeah, yeah. Say pretty much don't talk on the phone. Why
Yeah,
hire people to answer my phone so I don't have to. Hate it. I'll text you. But yeah, so some people like to call in. Maybe Mr. Duffy will call in and be like, "Hey, the Earth is flat, man."
is it?
Maybe in his
Yeah.
world, anything's possible.
Well, in my world, anything's possible. It's just, God, I remember being young. Just life seemed easier, man.
It was.
You went outside, you played kick the can, you went to school, and that was that. And then you grow up and you're like, oh, it's not as easy as I imagined.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a lot different because I think our parents and stuff relied more on the schools to teach our kids to get out to the world and stuff. But you can't do it that way. We need to with our kids need to do a better job at getting them ready. So
Mm-hmm.
there's more realistic expectations and stuff.
Yeah. But I do have a story, just because it came to mind as I was setting this up.
Yes, your story. I was very interested about this.
And it happened a long time ago,
Mm.
22 years ago, maybe.
Ooh. So we're 2000, huh? This is after you survived or actually 2001.
Yeah, something like that. In between 2001 2003, somewhere along there. It's before I was at the current job I was at, and I've been here 19 years.
Holy shizzle.
So yeah, it was definitely about 20, 23 years ago. And it's one of those stories of, is it just the right person was there at the right time? Because I was always struggling back then, drinking and whatnot. And I had to go to court because, well, if you don't pay your debts, they like to go after your paycheck once in a while. So after court, I was at the bus stop waiting for the bus to go home. And the bus comes and I get on, I sit down, and this lady has one of those, I don't know what you call it. It's like the roll carriage thing.
Hmm.
And she has a bunch
Basket.
of stuff, yeah, packed in there. And she sits behind me. And I turned around, and I don't know why, but I just turned around and there she was. It was winter, so she was bundled up. She had on like a blue snow cap with the frills on top. And she was short and a little heavier set, so she had a nice plump round face, and she was smiling, and her eyes were like the light of heaven,
Hmm.
and it's just adorable and sweet and warm. And I said hello, and she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we started talking. Only thing is, I don't remember asking her name, but we got to talking, and she said that she was a missionary, and she would travel around and she would meet people who seemed to have troubles and whatnot. And she's like, "You're having troubles." And I went, "Eh?" you know, "How would you know that?" And she was like, "Well, I can tell you miss them." And I went, "I miss who?" And she goes, "Your father." Now, my father had passed away about 12 years before. And so, I'm talking to her and I'm like, okay, this is weird. It's cool, but it's weird. And we're talking, nothing else strange she really says, and she says, as I'm setting this up last night, the numbers and stuff, she goes, "I can see you doing something like radio in the future." Last night, after they validated the number and stuff, I'm like, son of a bitch.
Hmm.
And it popped it because every time I remember it, I can see her in my mind, and I automatically just smile because she was so sweet and so kind that I was just like, this is just, it's a great memory of a time when I needed that kindness and warmth from someone. And I was like, that's neat.
Yeah, it's good to run across people like that. They're out there. Those people that you just instantly connect with, and they resonate with you at that moment. And it could be something they say or do, or just the act of kindness alone. It could go a long ways. And just imagine if we all did that every day,
Yeah.
just where the world would be and stuff. But it's kind of what it is. We just gotta make the best of what we have. And but it's interesting. She predicted where you're kind of. Did you indicate anything to her, or do you think that she planted a seed in you subconsciously that got you to consider doing something like this more?
Now she just blurted out, I'm like,
Oh
I'm a
yeah.
cook. Yeah, I was like, I'm a cook. And she was like, "Oh, okay. I see you doing something like radio in the future." And I was like, "No, you know, I
Could
don't
be
know
the
about that." But
yeah. I mean, could be the way you talked to her and really resonated. She's like, you do that. This could be your
yeah,
future. Here
she,
you are.
yeah, and she disappeared too. So,
Yeah.
but she was
So
short,
like
so
a
I probably just
phantom.
didn't see her turn the corner. But I like to think that she just disappeared like an angel. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, make it
I'm
a
thinking that.
lot cooler. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
keeping
mean,
I'm keeping that one.
yeah, well,
I'm not even going to try to debunk it.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's not important enough to, or it's not needed enough to debunk it and
I'm
like
not
try to
claiming
break it
she's an
down.
angel. Yeah.
Yeah, but she might as well have been because
Right.
she
That's
was that
that's the feeling.
inspiration that you needed. And there's people out there that could see it. I can, when you run across people, you can just pick up vibes, and some people are better than others at it. And she was probably one of those people, those empaths that when you come across, you just know, they feel and stuff, which is a true thing too, because uh, I did some work down in the Seattle area, and I told the story once before. And I went to this lady's house, and she has like the beware dog guard dogs and stuff like that. And so of course I wasn't paying attention because I was working on details and stuff. And so I just go into the gate and go in there. I'm like 20 feet in or something, and on the corner, these two big black Doberman pinchers come around the corner side by side at each other right there, just like looking straight at me. And I'm like, whoa. Like I wasn't going to run because I wouldn't have made it. And it was just cowardly. So what I did is this is all in a microsecond thought. I just started to act like I was supposed to be there. Like I walked up, I'm like, oh, hey guys, what's going on and stuff. And walked up, and I don't know if they were like confused or something, but I walked right by him, knocked on the door, and she's like, whoa. She was like really surprised. And what she said is that the dogs picked up the vibe and stuff, like my intent or whatever. So it is possible that, you know, you can pick stuff like that up. It's getting sent out there in some sort of, whatever. I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah.
metaphysical stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so interesting
Mind
that
speak.
not only was it for that moment, but the memory is
Hmm.
so vivid that instantly, if I wanted to, if I was having a bad day, all I need to do is drop that memory and everything's all right again.
It's interesting. That's a form of time travel almost in a way, right
Right.
there. It's what memories do for us, and it's the best version we have of time travel.
Yeah, it is.
Past.
Yeah. The other weird thing is, it's been, oof, how old am I? 45? Yeah, I'm 45. I'll be 46 in September. So,
Ooh,
save up for the birthday presents. No, I'm kidding.
yes,
Oh, thanks, Brent. So Brent said yes, he's going to get me something. So I'm going to hold you to that now.
just a little something.
Oh, that's all right.
I guess I'm at the dollar store.
That's all right. I'll take a penny. It's a penny I
Actually, it's
didn't
a
have before.
$1.25 store now.
Yeah.
It's your story.
It's been 33 years since my father passed away, right? And for a long time, you grieve and whatnot, and I see some people they're in their 70s and everyone's different, but they get real emotional. They still miss them and all these other things, and I'm like, I was thinking one day, am I odd for not feeling that anymore? Because I think about my father and I smile and I go, oh, that's cool. I don't miss him anymore.
How
At
old?
Christmas time, I don't wish he was here anymore.
How old were
Things
you
like
when he
that.
passed away?
12? Yeah, the next day I wasn't expecting him to come home. No, none of that stuff. I understood what it meant when I put the dirt on his casket at the cemetery.
Hmm.
Did I properly grieve? Probably not, which is why I got messed up for a little while, but I got back on track. But
Yeah,
I felt odd, like, okay, I remember him fondly and I smile and it brings me joy. I don't miss him, It's, I had like 9 years of memories, maybe if I'm lucky, 7, and it was good enough. He's one of the greatest human beings I've ever known. He'd help you anything. I mean, stranger broken down side of the road, he'd help him. You got a problem drinking, he'd help you. So I don't know. I just felt odd, because I was like, I don't know. To me, it's been 33 years,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my dad died when I was 19, and he was older. He was 56 when he had me. Uh,
One of my friends had a Cavalier King Charles that loved me when I showed up. When I went to leave, the dog changed its tune and would tear me apart. Never figured that out.
hmm.
Huh.
Could be like an action or something that you did, like a movement, and the dog had a previous trauma that it was unresolved, and so when you did that action, it just took the animal back to that moment and reacted in that way. Possibly,
Impossible.
possible.
Possible.
Mhm.
But grief's a funny thing. Man. I don't blame people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Everyone grieves in their own way.
Well, I was kind of like you, or I wasn't, I was younger and stuff. I wasn't at home when it happened and stuff. Uh, because I was out living here and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it. I think over time you really start to process that grief in a way where it doesn't affect you in the ways that it might have done before. Because after it happened and going on, it was really hard and stuff, and being a guide, uh, didn't really uh, talk about it and didn't really process it properly. So I carried that trauma with me until you know till it became not a trauma, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those things where you have to process and go through the motions to properly grieve. And but you need people at that time. And uh you know uh but yeah, so I get what you're talking about, because I didn't I am so far removed from it now, and that it's I don't have like a lot of it was, it's just how bad I felt, because he was uh he was 77 when he died. And so he was a smoker, and so my mom went to the store, and they think that he fell asleep, and so he caught fire and stuff. And they flew him down to Salt Lake City, and didn't make it. And uh so it was all kind of
Mm-hmm.
abrupt and stuff. I forgot I was going with that. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I think to be honest, what really helped was going through the wake, because they extended time,
Mhm.
and we all know someone where we've gone to a wake and so many people showed up that they extend and they go, there's still people coming. And so there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, one time, years later, I was at maybe a couple years later. No, I was definitely like 20. And that was about 8 years later. I was at a local grocery store, and I'm just paying, and an old lady goes, "Are you Tom's boy?"
Mhm.
Uh, Tom. I'm like, yeah. She goes, "You look just like him. He was such a wonderful human being." And I went, yeah, you know what? Every once in a while, somebody stops and goes and says that. Not anymore, but between 8 years when I really went in that area, still a couple people stopped me over the years, and that was nice because it's like a far-reaching impact,
Mhm.
But I think the other idea was that I don't know. I understood he wasn't coming back. I don't think I ever grieved that he didn't come back. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I knew he wasn't coming back, but I also didn't really grieve the goodbye, I would think. I didn't fully process it.
Takes
Like,
time.
okay, he's not coming back. But then as you go through life and you grow up and you're like, oh, he's not here for this, he's not here for that. The circumstances of the past, things like that, you really beat yourself up over. And one day I just said, you know, that's it. You know, it's been
But
like, it was like 25 years. And I was just like, dude,
well, that
I got these great memories. And that's
yeah,
what I need.
yeah, and that's the way it is with trauma. It's something that you process and will hopefully learn to grow from. Because you can look at it like this. You can do a carving on a sapling. And no matter what, that carving's always going to be there. The trauma is always going to be there for you, but you don't have to be defined by that trauma. You could grow, be bigger, grow branches, and reach for the stars and stuff. You don't have, that carving will always be there, but it's going to get smaller, less defined, and that's life right there. Because if you just focused on that carving of how it affected you, you're never going to have the opportunity to be that tree that grows
Hmm.
into what it was meant to be, and not a little shrub.
Yeah. It was kind of freeing. I was like, I love those memories. And
Yeah,
they're all mine. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Of course,
In the
some
end,
people
that's
have better one, longer ones because, well,
yeah,
I don't even think I remember being 3, so maybe 7 years, you know?
yeah. See, I had a totally different with my dad. He wasn't the nicest at all, like at all. so
Yeah, that's
so it's like polar opposite thing with that. So
yeah, I take people as they come, and sometimes people, because I know a couple people that people would say they're complete a-holes, and I'm like, "Really? Maybe to you, but, not in your situation." But, I go, "Have you considered how you're coming across to them? And maybe it could be you and how you're coming across to them?" That's always possible. With my sarcasm, I mean, I can only imagine what some people think, you
well,
know?
yeah. I mean, my dad was born in 1927 and left school at third grade to
Oh,
go do that, and uh, he was in the army and stuff. And actually, a weird story about just moments that can change lives. And so he was all set to go on D-Day and stuff, but he got like really sick, and so he ended up in the hospital and couldn't get deployed, luckily. And he actually was in the hospital for like 6 months or something. It was like an infection or whatever, and that's where he met his wife. Actually, married the nurse, and not that was not my mom, but that was like back in the 40s and stuff. But an interesting
hmm.
thing is that if he didn't get sick, I wouldn't, and he went to that invasion, and he likely would have been, killed out there.
I would
Then
have had a
that means,
different co-host, in other words.
yeah, it means I wouldn't be here, and bothering the Bigfoot community with all my uh, stuff.
Yeah, that would suck, man.
Yeah,
Then again, I wouldn't know that that would suck,
exactly, but it's interesting how little things like that can change the
Oh, yeah.
trajectory of things. And like my kids wouldn't be here, and all these other people wouldn't be here, and uh, all from one event in time that was very coincidental. It's like just one of those things. And um, yeah, like I say, if that infection didn't happen, uh,
Yeah.
you'd probably be having someone else here
or not here at all.
or not here at all. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
true.
you're one of the first people I interacted with online.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
broke out of my shell and started talking to people, which
Same
was
here.
fun. I had my fun. I had my fun behind the scenes, just watching stuff. And the interaction between people was always fun.
Yeah, because I'm.
Because I'm not
Uh,
the brightest bulb in the world, and I don't mind saying that I'm wrong when I'm wrong.
oh yeah,
So if you
shows character.
use social media right, you can learn a lot of things.
Hmm.
So that was always fun. You reconnect with some people you lost touch with, and that's fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of good benefits in it when used correctly.
Right. But now I guess they're trying to introduce a law, I guess. Well, some people are. They're starting to talk about it, making it illegal for children under 16 to have social media accounts. No, well,
Um,
they already limit it to 13. I think that's about fair.
that's it.
Well, yeah, because you need parental consent otherwise, I think.
Hmm. Like
I know
TikTok.
I think some platforms are like you got to prove that you're 13 years old or something, or you have to be.
Well, I think they just put in a different age.
They could.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
why put you're 13 when you can just put you're 18 and bypass that whole
Yeah. I don't
thing?
know, man. It's
That's what
it's
that's probably what they do.
I'm just not sure, I mean,
Yeah. Never
because
know about technology like that.
some of these things bug me, man. Like, can we get a bullying law here that makes
Bullying.
it legal for these freaking kids to bully these kids and
Oh,
who are already troubled into suicide? You dumb
bully.
fucks.
Yeah.
Like these group of girls got together for this poor hockey player. Started a rumor that she was sleeping around with all these people and stuff, and I'm like, is there a coach aware of this? What's going on here? I mean, these people are private, because you can't constantly. Somebody who's already struggling cannot be constantly beaten down like that. And what concerns me is we have no idea if these people feel guilty or if they're going to become sociopaths or psychopaths.
Well, I think a lot of the bullies are bullies because they're insecure themselves, and that's the way that they deal with it, and they just have their own issues, and it's something that you know, because I talk to my kids, I'm pretty involved with all my kids, just kind of growing up. Like I would do, like all the chaperones of like, for all the like I went everywhere with the
Mm-hmm.
schools, like to the zoos and stuff. I was on, uh, it was called Dads. It was Dads of Great Students, and you would go in and like read to other kids and stuff and do all that. And but to bullying in school and stuff, talking with my kids and still currently they're in high school, and there's not really that level of bullying you that is like that you would see in a movie or something that's like so bad or something. Like this generation, I don't know, they're more accepting, I guess, of people. I mean, literally, there's kids bark that
Mm.
bark and stuff that like identify as cats at school, and it's like,
Listen, I bark once in a while too. So
yeah, I mean, it's cool to bark, but not when you're like at school. And
I bark at work.
yeah,
I'm
so
weird, man. I'm just saying. That's
but
all I'm
but
saying.
but there is
I
bullying
get it.
going on all different levels, and even parents, that can bully their kids is what, and sometimes that's what creates these bullies
Mm-hmm.
is they are bullied themselves, and that's the only way they know how to go about things, or that's where they are able to release their their frustration of being bullied is on somebody else that's even smaller than them and stuff. And I personally cannot stand people who bully and lie, manipulate, and that's why I usually, you know, tend to pay some attention to those people in the Bigfoot subject, because some people don't want to deal with them, don't know how to deal with them, don't want to deal with them. But I don't mind because I'm familiar with them,
Yeah.
and so it's
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I was never big, so I was small, and my father told me, he goes, "I don't care what happens. Somebody bullies you, you're probably going to get your butt kicked, but you better stand up for yourself. I'm not going to be mad at you if you stand up for yourself." I'm like, oh, okay. But I had an older brother and stuff, and nobody really ever bothered me. A couple times, people aren't expecting someone my size to stick up for themselves. Really, only problem is back then my temper was quick,
yeah,
and I wouldn't fight, but I'd yell, and I'd lose it. And you ever seen those people? They get so angry they start crying, and their voice starts getting. Yeah, that was me. And people are like, "This kid's crazy. I'm not fucking with him." It was a secret weapon, actually. It was
yeah,
good for at the bars,
yeah.
even though, most people liked me. But when I really got overboard, I would get obnoxiously loud.
Oh, when you drink and stuff.
Yeah, so I made a deal with the bar. I said, "Just go, Sean, obnoxious time. All right, have a good night, guys. We'll see you all next time." And then I'd stand up and all the drunkenness would hit me, and it'd be like, for some reason, sitting down all night long. Just whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh yeah,
Usually I have like 2 cases before I even went out. And then, if I went in the bar and there was no stool to sit on, I gotta go. But if I could sit down, forget it. I could sit there all day. It's just when I stood up.
yeah. That's
Forget
the
it.
downside.
Yeah, that was the downside. Once I
Feeling the
stood up,
effects of it.
the whole world, oh, forget it, man. There were nights I literally crawled home on the sidewalk.
Yikes!
Yeah, it was nuts. Woke up in the weeds one morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I never
And
hit by a car.
we all go through phases in life.
Yeah, I had my fun and I paid my price though.
Yeah.
But as long as I learned, because if I didn't learn, I wouldn't be here.
Well, that's what it's kind of all about. That's why I really like Friedrich Nietzsche, because he talks about overcoming, and because we all deal with struggles and traumas and stuff, but it's how we perceive it and process it and deal with it is what really matters. Because within that struggle, there's extreme growth. It can help you know help you firm up what you truly value in life, through the
Mm.
struggles and stuff. So, you know, it's okay to struggle, but you don't want to struggle too much. And the thing, back to the bullying and stuff, it's like that's why we need to teach our kids and give them the tools necessary to go out there and handle life situations, because I'm not going to be able to protect them from bullies everywhere in their life. Um, I was able to up to this point and stuff, but once they're adults, you need to give them the tools to manage that, to not get in a situation where they have people in their lives that are bullies, like a partner or something. So just give them the tools necessary to navigate life, and that's the best way to deal with bullies, is to give the people the tools necessary to figure it all out. And and have the emotional mindset of it, if they do get bullied, of how to handle that. Like technically, you can say that I'm getting bullied a lot for all the stuff that like the Wes Germer, Randy Brisson stuff, like all that. You can technically say that I'm getting bullied. I don't look at it that way, just because it's my perspective of these people, because I understand why they're acting out at me and stuff. I understand why they're saying all this stuff. So it's
Right.
like, I don't really feel they're bullying me. I just feel that I'm just, confused.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I just think it's interesting that in some of these school situations where this was a player in a hockey team, you know, it's just like I don't I wish I could just figure out what went wrong there. How can these people get all these devices and just like hound this person? Like no teacher heard these rumors. I've never heard of that. When I was in, teachers knew more than they ever let on.
Oh
And no
yeah,
teacher, if that was in God, I can tell you, I can name like 5 teachers who would fucking pull those kids aside and be like, "Yo, that's stopping right now."
can't do that now. Kids will
Yeah,
start pulling out their phone, be like, "Oh look, look,"
I'm being
start baiting
bullied
the
by
student
this.
or the teacher even more to act out.
Yeah,
It's different now.
it's different. Yeah, but I'm just saying, 25 years ago, yeah,
Oh yeah.
that wouldn't have happened.
Mm-mm.
I had a sub though who was a dick one time, and sorry, YouTube, I swore. Uh,
Mm-mm.
I'm apologize. I know it's excessive swearing, but and he came in with an attitude, but the student also had a bad attitude, and he wouldn't sit down. And the sub was like, "Listen, I'm in charge. You got to sit down." He was like, "Why don't you make me sit down?" And at this time, the sub totally, you know, bought into this, you know, that hit now his machismo was challenged. So he took off his coat, and we're like, ah.
Mm.
Oh, here we go. The sub and the student are taking shots at each other, you know, punching stuff. And the
Yeah,
science teacher was an older dude, you know, so, but he come flying in and he's just like, boom, what the hell are you doing? You know, now they're dragging this guy out and this guy out. And I'm like, such chaos.
world star, world star. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, it's like UFC, man. I'm like, oh, did a sub just like go for it, man? The sub got sucked into this.
Yeah, they need to have the uh,
Some
the strength.
composure here.
Yeah, the composure to deal with these people, and he could be having a bad day, and that's just kind of how he reacted, and uh, you know, but yeah, he shouldn't be teaching if that's going to be his response,
Yep.
because you don't, yeah, you just don't do that. That's not
Yeah.
healthy.
I
He
had
he
not.
has he has trauma, unresolved trauma that he is projecting and having other people deal with because he won't deal with it. That's why it's important if you got trauma, be a good trauma stewardship and deal with your trauma so other people don't have to deal with it, because that's a sucky thing to do to somebody, to the world.
I
If
had a
people just dealt with their traumas more and understood it and the PTSD and everything, and really worked to process it and understood it and accepted it and grew from it, overcome it, the world would be a better place. Wouldn't need all this pharmaceutical stuff and this fake love and social media and clicks and likes
I
and
love you,
Instagram.
man.
Yeah.
We had another substitute who was stalking a student.
Oh wow, that's creepy.
Yeah. We had another sub. I don't know what the hell happened with our subs in these schools. He was drawing, and I was actually there when this was found. And so my teacher was kind of, shit, you shouldn't have seen. But he was drawing some of the girl students, you know, naked.
Hmm.
Where, Mr. T, where are we getting these subs from, man? I was kind of like a teacher's, you know, some would say pet, but I just thought they were more fun to talk to because, you know, it was stuff I was interested in. Plus, Mr. Taylor would tell me what classes he was teaching the following year so I could take them. But it's just interesting because it's just like, geez, I can't get good help around here.
Yeah,
But it's
fully
all
vet people
psychotic
out.
stuff, you know? It was all just psychotic stuff, you know? And sometimes just a poor teacher who needed some help, you know? Like, you know,
In the
I was
wrong
there,
field of work, that's for
yeah,
sure.
or I'm the jinx because, you know, I was there when somebody found a Jack Daniels bottle in the bottom drawer of a regular teacher's thing. And I'm like, It's not me, man. I'm not driving teachers to drink. I guarantee it. All right. It's not me. All right. I don't know why all this shit's being found when I'm around.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's just
people
weird.
self-medicate in their own ways,
Yeah. It's what happens when you hang around 20 minutes after class, I guess.
Yeah, no
You know,
kidding.
I
Yeah,
had one. Yeah.
oh, good.
No, go ahead. I was just.
Oh no, yeah, I was going to say it's tough being a teacher nowadays, with all the different rules, regulations, and everybody has a cell phone, and say the wrong thing, out of phrase, get caught doing the wrong thing, you're done. Which I guess is fine. It's good, but it's
Well,
weird.
sometimes you find these tweets from 12 years ago. Like there's this poor wrestler who just passed away, Jay Briscoe. And they, All Elite Wrestling originally wanted to do a tribute show, and TBS kind of said, well, 12 years ago, he said some homophobic stuff.
Hmm.
It's 12 years ago. I mean, do we not live life and some of us learn and change and adapt? Because
We're treated
if
and
you
we
went
grow.
if you went into his community, they would tell you what a wonderful human being he is and how he's always there for the community. He's one of its leaders.
Hmm.
So, that just tells me that over time he matured and his views changed. And because I'm pretty sure if they hadn't, we would have heard from people that now he's still the same guy he was 12 years ago.
Yeah, I'm permanently banned on Twitter, so I can't get any accounts there.
Yeah, we're safe from Brent and Twitter.
Yeah, take me there.
He won't tweet. Yeah. He won't tweet about portals.
Yeah. Yeah, but with stuff like that, it was a different time. Look at Tropical Thunder and Robert Downey Jr.
You couldn't make that today.
Couldn't. Yeah. No. So many movies like I watch with kids. It's like, whoa, fast forward through this part because it's like it's inappropriate.
Yeah. I still know people though who weren't offended by that at all, man. They were like, "No, that was hilarious." Yeah. But today,
we shouldn't be offended if it's respectful, and that was, I think, with Robert Downey Jr. It was more and respectful, and there was no malicious intent behind it,
No,
and
it's supposed to be a goofball, off the wall comedy.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad that was okayed. That made it through the chopping block. So I like that movie. It's fun.
Well, yeah, Jack Black was all ripped up on the what is this, man? It was so stupid. It was funny. And I'm not a fan of those kind of comedies usually.
Tom Cruise, man. Tom
Cruise made
shit. At the very end where he's doing his dance.
Yeah, he was doing the dance. They might bring that character back to do something.
Oh, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Oh,
Tom Cruise.
Brent, very important. This is very, very important. The conception for Violent Night 2 is on.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Well, it makes sense that they would want to do another one. There's a lot to do there. A lot of good options.
It cost them $25 million to make, and they made $75 million. So
that's just probably in the box office, huh?
Right. Now, globally.
Yeah, just wait till it hits. It is in the video.
Yeah, so they're gonna.
I'm a pirate, though. I watch it for free.
Oh, you stop it!
I am cheap. Got 3 kids, man.
Well, we're gonna help David Harbour, right? We got to buy the next one, right? I'll buy it for you. How about that?
Sounds fair. Well, I think he's doing all right with the whole Stranger Things gig.
Yeah, that's true too. I watched the first season. I liked it. I don't know why I didn't watch it after. Stranger Things. I don't know why I stopped watching it because I liked the first season.
Yeah, no, it's a good show. I mean, it's an interesting concept. It kind of slows down, and I don't know what they're going to do now as far as the next season, which they're making. Like everybody's like, geez, in their 20s now, probably.
Mm-hmm. one of the disappointing things is The Wizard of Oz is being remade.
What?
Yeah.
Who's doing that? It's got to be Tim Burton or nobody else. If it's not Tim
Oh
Burton.
no. It's the people who wanted to redo the Wiz.
I
They're
don't know who
going to
those
do the
people are.
Wizard of Oz in, I don't know, more modern times.
It'll be like a CGI fest.
I don't know what they're going to do, man, but
That's a tough one to remake because that's such a beloved classic, and that's magic in a bottle right there,
well,
and everything went right on that.
yeah. See, I never took The Wizard of Oz as a movie about self-reliance. I took that as about a girl ran away from home and regretted it. Didn't appreciate what she already had.
Yeah, I mean, we all look into that journey with our own lens and how it's perceived. Yeah, it's
Well, hopefully,
yeah,
I'll be wonderfully surprised.
and that's such a beloved movie though. That's a tough one to remake.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I would just conceptualize something else and do it in the vein of The Wizard of Oz.
But then it's also the thing where it's a part of the story. The whole Oz storyland. It's not just the Wizard of Oz. I think it's like a book series, that whole world. So
Oh, Oz
yeah.
was great series on Sci-Fi.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, yeah, like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, the Tin Man, who was the guy who did
Yeah,
he was the bad guy against the Rock in Walking Tall. I forgot his name.
I didn't see that.
He played Tin Man. Yeah, I liked it. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then it was gone.
Yeah, I think it was only a season long, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think that's all it was supposed to be, but I wanted to go on. Sometimes they do a good job with these miniseries. I was like, yeah, just keep this thing going. Like, I love The Shield, but you can do The Shield today, probably.
Yeah, but with like Wizard of Oz and stuff, you lose that magic if you do too much of it. That's why it's good to have like the one series.
I mean, I'm not going to doubt that the person loves the movie and really wants to do something, with good intentions. It's just, do you
Good
have
luck.
to? Especially if you over modernize it. I have no problem with people going, well, there should be more, do one with more diversity, but it's still like, yeah, but it's not Judy Garland, it's not the actors, and don't underestimate the actors who are playing the characters here.
You know who I feel bad for is the lady who's playing the Little Mermaid. Gosh, man, imagine that. It's like you get to play a princess or it's such a beloved character, and people are shitting on you because you look different. I mean, I feel so bad for that lady because just all the negative stuff about it was just like so disgusting. Just man, feel bad. Hate stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, people arguing over diversifying these things. I don't care about that. Do it. That's all good. But some of these classes, they're hard to do. That's all I'm saying. It's hard to do. But maybe I'll be wonderfully surprised. I hope so. I'm all for it. But I'm not into that that person, I'm not into that I'm going to judge the book before for the cover. It's like I don't know. I thought, like if Ben Affleck at Batman. Well, that won't work. It worked all right. I'm like, wait and see what happens,
But if they made Batman like
if Elton John played Batman.
Well, no.
If Danny DeVito played Batman, I mean, nobody's going to buy it.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
But you want Danny DeVito to play Batman now?
No, actually, I like the Robert Patterson Batman. That was actually really good.
Oh, you
I
liked
liked
it?
it. I did. I'm like, not bad. And the Joker, 'cause, they're rebooting again the whole DC world, and they're forgetting Snyderverse, and they fired Henry Cavill for Superman, which sucks because I really liked him as Superman.
I
And
liked
they're
them too.
yeah, and they're he's getting older too, but and he's probably costing a lot more too. Um, but yeah, it looks like they're going to go with a complete reboot of the DC with the Joker and Batman
Oh,
as the that whole future for it, the more realistic, grounded versus. I guess the other one was realistic and grounded, but it was such
mm-hmm.
a mess, because they're trying to play catch up to the MCU and just failed at it
Yeah.
miserably, and it was such a mess. And but if they bring back Superman, and me and my son were talking about this, it's like you could bring back Superman, but the problem is Superman has too many powers. The thing with Superman is when he first was created, he couldn't do all this stuff. He wasn't like indestructible. It
Mm-hmm.
was with each incarnation, with each new author and comic book writer and an artist and whatever. That's when he started developing all these new powers and stuff, just like with Bigfoot in a way, actually, where everybody can put their own little attributes onto Bigfoot and stuff. Next thing, Bigfoot's flying through the air.
Yeah.
Um, but and
I'll be flying through the air.
but if we go back to, so everybody associates Batman or Superman with that invincible character, but if we go back to the original of what the Superman character was, you can have him in a movie and not have to keep him out of a movie. Because I mean, that's why they had to kill him off. Because it's like, shit, man, he's too powerful. Anybody here, it's like Superman could just easily kill him, and that's the downside of having that indestructible character.
I want them to redo Masters of the Universe
I think they're supposed to.
because
Oh
people
no!
argue
Or
with.
wait,
I love that movie. I
they
love
did
it.
the series, the cartoon series, and I think because Kevin Smith was a big advocate for it, and they did a cartoon series. I think that was not well received.
Yeah, I don't care. Just take that movie and make it today. That's all I care about. I loved it
Hey,
with
come on,
Dolph
man! With
Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren,
I
yeah, dude, that,
loved it.
that's the shizzle. I
I
love
thought
that
it was
movie.
great, man.
Yeah,
I thought that little guy playing the thing was fantastic. I loved the whole thing.
you should watch the breakdown of how that movie came about and the history behind it because it's really fascinating. Because He-Man was actually born out of the toys.
Mm,
It was started to be a toy, and then it had the TV show made for it,
yeah,
which
because
at that time it was one of the first times that's happened.
yeah, that cartoon was one of my favorites.
Oh
I
hell yeah, man!
have the power.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
watching
that
that.
was great. Feel
And
like a
yeah,
kid again.
yeah, man, I love
I
that
love it.
the Transformers and
This movie.
GoBots.
Oh, the Transformers. Yeah, the Transformers. Dennis the Menace was big for me too. I don't know why. I watched them all. The cartoons, the black and white ones. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah,
I liked how he annoyed Mr. Wilson.
yeah. I remember rushing home to watch the cartoons of like uh, Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
Darkwing Duck,
DuckTales was one of my favorite ones.
DuckTales,
Ooh, DuckTales.
Tails, yeah.
And the Rescue Rangers. Uh,
Alf was one of my favorites.
oh yeah, man, I love Alf. They need to remake Alf. That would be a good one. You always hear stories that they're going to, and you see like
Yeah,
fan made stuff that's like,
and
ooh,
it's
what's that real?
and it's a clean comedy to make,
Yeah,
except maybe him wanting to eat the cat,
yeah, that you'd have to take that part out.
unless the cat scratches him. The
Yeah,
cat
it's like a
defends itself or something.
alien. Well, he never did technically eat the cat, though,
No,
right?
no, no.
So
I think he was just
it's all
playing with it.
fair. It's all fair.
That might have
Huh?
been his joke, though. It might have
Might
been
have
a
been.
joke, to the family. It's a joke.
I know another good one was dinosaurs. Remember?
Not the mama.
Not the mama.
Hit him in the head with a frying pan.
Such a tragic ending too. Like
Yeah,
for a kids show. Boom, you're all dead. See ya.
yeah. They got some outtakes though that are funny. They're on
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah, the
Oh
outtakes
yeah,
are
yeah.
funny. I I'm trying my best. The little baby are arguing and stuff. Like, this is hilarious. We need more bloopers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that one with
Yeah.
the baby doing the outtakes.
And I guess Tim Allen's accused of flashing Pam Anderson. Accused by Pam Anderson. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, Tim. I wouldn't put it past you, pal.
Well, there's a video of him flashing his co-star, and people are making a
the
big deal about it.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah, but he had clothes underneath there,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he wasn't truly flashing.
Yeah. But you hear things about his past and, some problems. But, who knows?
Well, when he was arrested,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you're going to go flash somebody like 30 years later, 20 years later.
You know what? It might be in his personality. He might not even remember doing it, but he did it,
Or she might have remembered him, he was wearing clothes, but she might have remembered him not wearing clothes, or, I know Chris Pratt, when he was on Parks and Rec, there was a scene where where someone opened the door and he was supposed to be there and deliver his lines, but he was there and he jumped in the scene, or jumped in the door frame naked to all his co-stars. Do stuff like be naked and do stuff like that, which I don't think you can do nowadays.
Why do people want to be naked?
I don't know.
I don't even find that funny. It's like, yeah, good for you.
It's like,
yeah. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't want to see that.
yeah, well, he's just he was younger, and he's just that kind of guy, I guess. That does that.
I knew some wild people, but they were usually drunk when they did it.
Yeah, it
wasn't like consciously, hey, I'm going to pull a prank on these people. I'm just going to get naked.
Yeah, I haven't been that drunk before.
I would scare people. They would be traumatized.
I would too, man.
They would need help. Yeah, they would need help. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight.
Yes.
And we'll be back Saturday, I think. Well, I'll be here. I don't know what the hell I'll be doing, but I'll be doing something.
I should be. I might be. If not, I'll troll you.
Oh, you can troll me. That's all right.
I'll troll you in a good way. Maybe not.
You could crank call the toll-free number.
I can. I could, yeah.
Because it's free.
Is there caller ID?
No, I don't see the caller's numbers. I see the number they dial. One of the toll-free number pops up.
Wonder if I can do like a
I don't want to see people's numbers,
I could do an imitation of Pat and call you. Do something like that. Control you. Figure that out.
Play
Do you see that the video show? Oh, actually, we were leaving, huh?
What was it?
Oh, the on Untold Radio.
No, I didn't see it.
Was it? Yeah, they're talking about drones.
Oh,
good discussion.
They should fly a drone over here and look for sandworms.
Sandworms.
Yeah, like in Beetlejuice.
They're really prevalent over there. Got to get them.
Only in my imagination, but if somebody could find one, that would be.
Well, cool. I'm sending an imaginary drone over there right now.
Awesome.
Boom. It is launched. You'll be there in 2.3 minutes.
All right, cool. All right. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.
See ya.
We'll see ya.
Thanks for listening to the Phenomenon Sessions. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe for notifications on future episodes. And remember, it's an adventure out there. Until next time.